Hello guys and welcome to the student room. My name is Ross Campbell, and if you'd like to see the content I upload to my own channel, please click the video link here. Okay, so today's video is going to be part 1 of 2 on the topic of time management and project management at uni, which are kind of the same thing, I think. But anyway, I'm going to share with you some very useful tips on how to manage your time and manage your projects when you're at university. And I'll start by saying it doesn't matter what you study or what your project is, if it's an exam, an essay or performance, the tips I have should apply to all of these. The first tip I have for you guys is work out exactly how much time you have to complete and hand in your project. Now often students will find themselves in the situation where they'll go to the class where the project assessment is handed out, where they're given the details of the project, and that includes the deadline. For an essay, this may be a period of like 4 to 6 weeks. For a dissertation, it will probably be a matter of months. But what happens is they go to the class, they leave the class, they forget to make a note of the deadline and remind themselves to get to work on it, and they get to a week before the deadline's due, and that's when they start reading in preparation for actually writing the essay or the project. And yeah, I'm speaking from personal experience here. Which brings me on to my next tip. Use an online calendar. I like to plan out my days with Google Calendar, which syncs up with the app on my phone. So if I have a deadline that I want to remind myself about, all I do is stick that in my Google Calendar with the exact date and time. Then if you like, you can add a notification so that you get reminded about it a week before, 2 weeks before, a month. You get the idea. That way you avoid the stressful situation of being that student that gets to a week before the deadline and hasn't even started to work. Now, once you've worked out what your deadline date is and made a note of it in your online calendar of choice, you should then start to break down the project into small segments until you can't anymore. So let's take baking a cake as an example here. I don't recall ever having baked a cake in my life before, but that's relevant. Hopefully the metaphor should work. So you want to bake a cake. How do you go about doing this? The first step will be to decide what kind of cake. However, the chances are if you're writing an essay, then the cake recipe, the question, has already been decided for you. If you're in a situation similar to mine right now, where I've just been given a big project for my final year at uni, and there's no specific question to answer, it's very much what I want to do. I decide what the project is, essentially. If you're in that situation, then take some time and give a bit of thought to what you'd like to do for your project. It doesn't have to be a final specific outcome. For now, a rough idea will do. Now we need to decide what ingredients we're going to use for our cake. In the context of this video, the ingredients will be our resources: books, journals, interviews, articles, videos, audio recordings, Wikipedia. We've all been there. You need to do some research and then find as many of each of these resources as possible. Then what you can do is separate them into 2 categories: essential and desirable. So the essentials are going to be your eggs and flour, meaning the sources found on the reading list of your project assessment. Make sure that you find and locate these sources as soon as you can, because if they are things that you can find at your university's library, chances are the rest of your classmates are also going to be wanting to use them. They'll also need them. They'll also be looking to take them out of the library. And if the library has 1 or 2 copies and someone else takes them out for 7 days or something, then that can seriously delay your study time. The desirables are the icing on the cake. So these are any sources that are outside of your reading list that are actually relevant and beneficial to the topic of your project. Now, I could go on further, but this would turn into a really long video, so I'm just going to cut it here. But be sure to check back on this channel in the near future, as part 2 of this video will be uploaded very soon. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope the advice I shared with you today was useful. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up below and hit the subscribe button for more content like this.